worse. If not only President Mahama, even if Bawumia becomes president, it will be disastrous. President Mahama will be the worst, but Bawumia will be a disaster. You know why? I want to advise Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and the MPP to concentrate in finishing the 8 rather than breaking the 8, because there's no 8 to break. Dr. Bawumia, please stop crying for the steer. The car is not a toy. Stop crying for the steer. The car is not a toy.
This is Magical GH. Magical GH. And I will be your papa. Subscribe Nestle. Magical.
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, good morning. Good morning. Your dedication to seeking truth, sharing stories, and informing the public is vital to our society function. Your tireless effort to cover facts, provide insight, and hold those in power accountable are crucial to a healthy democracy. As we gather here today, I want to acknowledge the important role you play in shaping the narratives, influencing public opinion, and inspiring change. Your work has the power to educate, inspire, inform, and bring people together. Addressing the depreciation of the Ghana cedi. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ghana cedi has experienced significant depreciation against major currencies such as the US dollar, euro, and the British pound. This has led to increased cost of imported goods and services, contributing to inflation and economic instability. I recall in 2016, when then candidate Nana Akufo-Addo touted the importance of his then running mate, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and he said he was the person who helped vice president before to stabilize the city, and hence his reason for making him the running mate, so that he will help manage the city when they win power. Today, they are in power. The cedi has become the worst currency under the so-called economic desire of the Bawumia. Ghanaian businessmen and women are becoming poorer against their counterparts in other countries due to the high rate of the depreciation of the Ghana cedi. The government of Ghana loses over 10 billion Ghana cedis due to the cedi depreciation. I don't know how many of you have changed dollars recently, or euro, or pound, but no one can dispute the fact that the Bawumia-led economic management team has done a woeful job in keeping the cedi afloat. There is no strength in the cedi against the major trading currencies. The result clearly is the high cost of doing business, which automatically leads to high unbearable cost of goods and services. Your purchasing power has equally been reduced as your income are eroded. How can anybody afford daily livelihood? Ladies and gentlemen, what is worse is that the more government borrows from foreign exchange to shore up the local currency, the more the cedi plummets. It is strange while the MPP economic messiah looks on. I cannot understand Dr. Bawumia's logic of economic fundamentals. The fast depreciation of the Ghana cedis has become a major source of worry, economic hardship and pain, especially for the ordinary Ghanaian business owners, pensioners, traders, businesses who depend on the dollar or foreign inflow for their livelihood. Although this fast depreciation of the Ghana cedi observed is not going to be with us for a relatively long period when APC is voted to power. It is high time the Nana Addo-led government put in place measures to halt this fast depreciation of the Ghana cedi and the dependency on debt financing of the economy. The import cover is reduced. The exchange rate market is unstable. Government securities held by foreign portfolio investors have increased and yield spreading, which is a clear sign of weakness, and any of these indicators going the wrong way might prompt a steep depreciation of the cedi. The All People's Congress, as a concerned political party, has observed the unprecedented depreciation of our dear currency, the Ghana cedi, especially the erratic nature in the movement of the dollar. The pressure on the Ghana cedi remained high, with its year-to-end date depreciating against the US dollar standing at 5.5% as at the end of April, which is higher than the 4.2% recorded over the same period last year. This weakness is unusual in an election year. One of the major consequences of the cedi depreciation is the increasing numbers of businesses in Ghana that demand dollar for their services. This trend, particularly prevalent in industries such as tourism, hospitality, import and export. For example, many hotels, restaurants in Ghana price their services in dollars, which put a strain on the local currency and further weakens its value. Furthermore, the high demand for dollar has led to a scarcity of foreign exchange reserves, making it difficult for businesses to access the necessary funds to operate effectively. Holding of foreign currencies by politicians and businessmen in their homes is greatly affecting the availability of foreign currency. This has the ripple effects of the overall economy, leading to inflation, high fuel price, an increase in the cost of goods and services. The suffering of Ghanaians is evident as we struggle to make ends meet in the face of economic hardship. To address this issue, the government must put immediate action to restore the strength of the cedi. This includes implementing policies that promote economic stability, reducing corruption and mismanagement of resources, and investing in key sectors such as production, manufacturing, and industrialization. Additionally, we must prioritize the development of a national database, a national development plan to ensure sustainable growth and prosperity for all Ghanaians. The government in its capacity should ban all foreign trading in the country, shut down all businesses that charges in dollars, stop the quotation and the awards of contracts in dollars, ban opening of foreign currency accounts and close down all foreign currency accounts in Ghana, stop all hotels, businesses, airlines, landlords, schools, automobile companies, and shipping lines from quoting and charging in foreign currencies. Why should a Ghanaian patronize the services of a company in his country with dollars? Why? Can a Ghanaian charge for his services in the US in the Ghana cedis? Let all be patriotic citizens and defend our nation. Power crisis. The persistent power outages known locally has doomed some. It has disrupted daily lives and businesses' operations, affecting productivity and economic growth. It is time for the government to take responsibility and provide real solutions instead of deflecting blames. Before I tackle this issue, I am praying in my head that the power in the room will not go off. Yes. We have transitioned from excessive power to inadequate power thanks to talkatives who are mindless about the need to continually plan our energy resources and invest in them appropriately to avert the needless doom so we are experiencing. Let us recall how this government brought us into this mess. In their first demonic greed, led them to form what they call Power Distribution Service, PDS. This organization was successfully used to siphon financial resources from the energy sector and vanish into thin air. As we speak, we are aware they heavily owe ECG, but no one knows how much and where the money is. Their activities led to the Millennium Challenge Compact withdrawing its $190 million support to the energy sector. Additionally, the excessive borrowing money from this government did not factor addressing the problem of the sector. We should be asking what ESLA is being used for as well, and why we owe independent producers millions of dollars, which is straining their production capacity. You and I pay our electricity bill upfront, prepaid. We pay prepaid. An efficient management system should be made to be able to avoid the situation we are in today. In a few weeks, we are going to be saddled with increment in tariffs, but doomsday is not going away. Just last week, many parts of the country experienced long periods of blackout, leaving citizens without electricity for hours. This is not the first time we have seen this happen. In fact, doomsday has become a recurrent issue in Ghana, causing businesses to suffer, disrupting daily lives, and damaging our economy. This cannot continue. The effect on Ghanaians. The effect of doomsday on Ghanaians are devastating. Many businesses have been forced to shut down due to the high cost of running on generators, resulting in job losses and economic hardship for families. Students are unable to study due to the lack of electricity. Some media houses, some of you, have to close down for a period of time. Hospitals are struggling to provide necessary care to patients. It is a shame that our government has allowed this crisis to affect the lives of the citizens in such a negative way. I call to government. I am calling on government to stop their arrogance and take immediate action to solve the power crisis. We cannot continue to live in darkness while our leaders turn a blind eye. It is time for real solutions, not empty promises and excuses. We demand that the energy minister and his staff be held accountable for the management of the ECG, and that competent individuals with a track record of success be appointed to lead the company. The power crisis, or doomsday, is a national issue that requires urgent attention, action from the government, and we will not sit idle by while our country suffers. The All People's Congress urge the government to put the interests of the citizens first and work towards providing a sustainable and a reliable power supply for all. If they cannot manage ECG, I am ready to take over, privatize it, and I will buy it. Recent flight. Currently, we are in the rainy season. The perennial floods are occurring and taking several lives and destroying properties. The government has lost any argument in addressing the problem beyond awarding contracts for dredging and siphoning funds from it. How can we stop the floods with this attitude? Waste management has become a burden despite the huge resources government commit to it. Most of our gutters are choked with filth. You cannot drive through the rains in Accra, the capital that was touted to become the cleanest city in Africa under this government. We need a rethink. For 8 years, when they have failed and are leaving, they say it is possible. What is possible? The recent flood in the city is very alarming and needs urgent attention. Yet the government has neglected to take appropriate action. One may say the government has not neglected the issue, but the truth is that they do not prioritize the well-being of Ghanaians. How can we trust a government that approved $200 million in 2019 to create a drainage system, and 5 years down the lane, the drainage is still not constructed? Where has that money gone? It is unacceptable that the government cannot account for such a large amount of money that was supposed to be used to protect our citizens from suffering disasters. We in the APC want to state categorically clear that the government does not have the best interests of Ghanaian people at heart. The rate at which properties and lives are being lost due to flooding is heartbreaking. And yet, government seems not to care. It is clear that both the NDC and the ruling party, NPP, has no interest in finding lasting solutions to this pressing issue. They have failed to fulfill their promises and have neglected the safety and well-being of our people. Therefore, we are calling on all Ghanaians to join hands with us and vote for the APC in the upcoming election. We are the only party that has the best interest of Ghanaians at heart. We will prioritize the urgent construction of drainage system and ensure that proper measures are put in place to prevent future floods. We will not sit back and watch our people suffer while the government continues to neglect their duties. It is time for a change. We need your support to make it happen. Let us come together, show the government what we will not accept, and we will not accept their negligence any longer. The recent flood in our country, capital, is just one example of how the government has failed us. We cannot afford to have them in power for another term. The APC is the only party that prioritizes the well-being and safety of all Ghanaians. Huge debt, huge debt, huge debt. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, another pressing issue that threatens the economic stability and prosperity of our nation, Ghana. The alarming increase in Ghana debt stock is a cause for concern, and it is imperative that immediate action be taken to address the crisis. Needless to say though, we have seen our debt stock rise from 120 billion Ghana cedis in 2017 to 638 billion now. But what do we see? Less development from much borrowing. Major infrastructure projects have been left uncompleted and created serious inconveniences. You can mention the Palgu multipurpose dam project, the Ningwa Road, Barrier project, Pram Junction project, Bishabilamte and Takoradi PTCL interchange are few examples. The Tema Akosombo Road, Tema Mienso Road, Tema Motorway, and many others are all in limbo after noisy sword cutting years ago. And I believe you don't want to know the harrowing experience of driving on those roads. The root of this crisis lies in the combination of unnecessary borrowing and mismanagement of government funds. The lack of accountability and transparency in government operations has only aggravated the situation, leading to a balloon debt that poses a significant threat to our nation's financial well-being. It is crucial that the government conducts a comprehensive audit of all government loans and expenditure to identify areas of inefficiency and potential mismanagement. This audit will provide valuable insight into the current state of Ghana's finances and help guide future decision-making process. In addition to this audit, measures must be implemented to increase transparency and accountability in financial management. This includes establishing clear guidelines for the allocation and use of government funds, as well as ensuring that all financial transactions are properly documented and reported. Fiscal discipline and responsible borrowing practice are also essential in addressing Ghana's debt crisis. The government must prioritize sustainable financial practices that do not burden future generations with excessive debt. This requires careful planning to ensure that funds are used wisely in the best interest of the Ghanaian people. Those responsible for mismanaging funds must be held accountable for their actions. It is unacceptable for individuals to misuse public funds for personal gain, and steps must be taken to ensure that such behavior is not tolerated within the government. As a concerned political party, we demand the government take immediate action to address Ghana's debt stock. Our nation's economic future depends on the decision made today, and it is our responsibility to hold our leaders accountable for their actions. Together, let us stand united in demanding a better future for Ghana. We owe it to ourselves, our children, future generations to ensure that Ghana's economy is managed with prudence and accountability. Corruption and mismanagement of resources. Another issue to address is the urgent issue of corruption and mismanagement of resources in Ghana, which has led to widespread economic hardship and suffering. The exorbitant cost of living, including the skyrocketing price of fuel and other essential goods and services, has further increased the struggles of the Ghanaian people. Corruption and resource mismanagement has long plagued Ghana, perpetuating a lack of accountability and transparency in government operations. This has resulted in ineffective resource utilization, hindering economic growth and development. The consequences are stark, with ordinary citizens struggling to make ends meet and provide for their families. The high cost of living, particularly the escalating prices of fuel, has made it even more challenging for Ghanaians to afford basic necessities. This has created a vicious cycle of poverty and hardship that is different to escape. Therefore, we demand the government take concrete and immediate action. 1. Tackle corruption and ensure accountability at all levels of government through strengthening anti-corruption laws and institutions and holding accountable those who engage in corrupt practices. 2. Implement effective resource management strategy to stimulate economic growth, investing in infrastructure, education, healthcare, and sustainable development practices. 3. Introduce policies to reduce the cost of living, making essential goods and services affordable for all Ghanaians, including reducing taxes on essential goods, providing subsidy for basic necessities, and increasing access to affordable healthcare and education. Desperate promises by NDC and NPP. Desperate promises. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Ghanaians, it is important for us not to fall for those desperate promises made by those two political figures. Let us not forget, former President John Dramani Mahama has been president before and made numerous promises during his time in office. However, he was not able to fulfill them, yet he comes to make more promises. On the other hand, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, as Vice President and running mate, made grand promises during their campaign for office. But since becoming the second in command, he and his boss have failed to fulfill those promises and have instead mismanaged our economy and still making unnecessary promises. Promises have failed us. Promises have failed us. Yet, both of them have the audacity to stand before the people of Ghana and make more promises upon promises. And we have seen their track record, and it's evident they have not been able to deliver on their promises. That is why I am urging you, fellow Ghanaians, not to fall for this desperate attempt to gain votes instead. I implore you to consider a young man with a vision, a leader who has Ghanaians at heart, a leader who has shown immense dedication and has put massively a striving Ghana, and that is Dr. Hassan Ayariga. I, Dr. Ayariga, has proven myself as a leader who is committed to the betterment of our country. I have a clear vision for the future of Ghana, and I've shown that I have the capabilities to bring about real change. So, my fellow Ghanaians, I urge you not to be swayed by the empty promises of these two political figures, but instead consider a leader who has the passion, drive to move our nation forward. Put your trust and hope in me, and together we'll build a strong country, Ghana. APC policies. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, let me brief you with some policies of the All People's Congress to the great people of Ghana. Our vision is to transform Ghana into a prosperous and a developed nation, where every citizen has access to opportunity and a decent standard of living. Our policies are designed to achieve this vision. Firstly, we will implement an economic lockdown to prevent capital flight, grow to consume, and increase productivity, and ensure that Ghana's resources benefit Ghanaians. This will help in stabilizing the economy and promote local businesses. Secondly, we will establish a national database to ensure accurate data collection and informed decision making. This will help in better planning and implementation of policies. Thirdly, we will develop a national development plan to guide Ghana's development and ensure sustainable growth, and this will provide a roadmap for the country's progress. Furthermore, we will prioritize Ghanaians' interests through our Ghanaian First policy, ensuring that our citizens benefit from this nation's natural resources. This will help in promoting local industry and creating jobs opportunities for Ghanaians. We also aim to promote a mindset shift from dependency to self-reliance and entrepreneurship through our change of mind policy. We need to change our mind. Mindset is our problem. If we do not change our mindset, even if Jesus come back, Ghana will still suffer. If the Prophet Muhammad come back, we still not find a way. We need to change our mindset. This will empower individuals to take control of their own economic well-being. Additionally, we will establish Ghana as a hub for production, manufacturing, and industry through our production, manufacturing, and industrial policy. This will create jobs, drive the economy drive economic growth in the country. Moreover, we will implement programs to create decent jobs for Ghana's youth through our Job for the Youth policy. This will empower the younger generation to contribute to the nation's development. We will also introduce the 24-hour economy and the 3-shift system to maximize productivity and efficiency in various sectors. This will help in boosting economic growth and create more opportunities for Ghanaians. Furthermore, we will leverage technology to enhance governance, transparency, and accountability through our e-governance policy. This will help in improving the efficiency of government operations and services. Lastly, we will work towards economic dependency by reducing Ghana's reliance on foreign aid and promote self-sufficiency. This will help in strengthening the country's economy and ensuring a brighter future for our nation. In conclusion, very important. Ladies and gentlemen, if former President Mahama had to go because of 4 cedis to $1, then I don't know why Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is running for president at 16 Ghana cedis to $1. 2, I want to advise Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and the MPP to concentrate in finishing the 8 rather than breaking the 8, because there's no 8 to break. 3, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia should know that Ghanaians don't have short memory. The suffering is real and escalating. So he should stop the jokes. Number four. Take note of number 4. Dr. Bamia, please stop crying for the steer. The car is not a toy. Stop crying for the steer. The car is not a toy. Number 5. The steer was given to you and your boss, and you both drove into a different direction. When the steer was given to them, instead of building Ghana, they destroyed Ghana. Instead of transforming Ghana, we're in crisis. So you don't need the steer anymore. You went to a different direction. The main direction of focusing on building Ghana, you didn't do it. So stop crying for the steer. The car is not a toy. It's a real car. Number 6, you have lost credibility as a party and as a candidate. No good policies, deceit and propaganda. Your only option left is vote buy. Because you have no credibility. No Ghanaian will vote for you. If you buy vote, maybe you get. But I don't think 2024 is for MPP or NDC. Number 7. Dr. Bamia should watch his slogan. It is possible. Ghanaians are not listening to you anymore. You have inflicted pains and suffering on us. It is possible. Has no chance. Rather, use that resources and change the narratives. Number 8. Our nation has become a banana republic under your watch, and it is pathetic, Mr. Vice President. Do not continue to hold yourself as an MPP presidential candidate. You have no chance against Hassan Ayaka. I am starting my campaign activities in the 16 regions tomorrow. We will arrive in Boku on Thursday morning, launch the campaign at Boku, and then move to other surrounding communities in the area. Then we'll move to different regions after. The itinerary of the campaign will be shared with you shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, finally, I want to thank you all again for your attention and dedication to sharing the truth with the public. Your role in shaping the narratives and informing the public is vital, and we appreciate your commitment to seeking truth and transparency. As we move forward, we call on the government to take swift and decisive action to address the issues we have discussed today. We urge them to prioritize the welfare and safety of our citizens and to work towards creating a more just and equitable society for all Ghanaians. To the general public, I ask that you join us in this effort. Together we can make a difference and create a brighter future for ourselves and for generations to come. I thank you very much for coming. God bless Ghana. They should monitor. Very few people can transfer and must give reasons for the transfer. You don't just open period for transfer and people just are transferring without reasons. I lived in Germany before. If I want to transfer my vote or something, I must show the reason why I'm transferring. Do we have those reasons? No, we are just doing the transfer. And this is bad for our democracy. Democracy needs upgrades. Democracy also needs we taking proper action and doing the right thing. Number 2, you asked whether I said if President Mahama becomes president, it will be the worst. If not only President Mahama, even if Bawumia becomes president, it will be disastrous. President Mahama will be the worst, but Bawumia will be a disaster. You know why? Currently, President Mahama has been president before, and the situation is that where we find ourselves as a country is bad. Our economic situation is bad to the extent that anybody becoming president from the two of them will continue to live in deep crisis. Because look, the international community will not come and say, President Mahama is a new person. So he coming on board, we're going to help him and support him to promote or build the country. They won't do that. They've seen it before. But if Hassan Ayerga become president this year, many investors and businessmen and countries would like to support a new face, a new party to grow Ghana, because they have hope now that there's a new leader. So both of them becoming president, that this is your country. If these people are not performing, I will change. If this one is not performing, I will change until I get the right leader to transform my country. Change your mindset. Let's build a special mindset that we accept each other, know the faults we find, and change these faults and change the leaders who do not transform us. So in that, then we need a national database. Look, we are here. When I said Ghana is a banana economy, you didn't know. You didn't ask. We do not have data of anybody here, all of you. There's no data about you. In Ghana, you call Ghana card a data. Ghana card is just a registration of card, but there's no data. If I key your name into the system, there is nothing about you that will come. Which system am I going to key? Which system? If I ask the president, tell me the number of people you have in this country, he can't tell. You'll be calling statistical department to say, because there is nothing for the president to rely on and build this country. So we need a national data system that will capture every information of every Ghanaian, right from your date of birth, where you work, your salaries, your bank accounts, your data, facial recognition, the number of houses you have, the number of cars you have. Every information about you must be captured into details. And having the data, the moment I key your name, Kweku answer, date of birth. If I key Kweku answer, it will give me so many Kweku answers. Date of birth, 4th September, it will give me whether you, or if it doesn't give me, then I'll key your card number, it will give me the information. But we don't have it. So how are we developing? So you see, I'm answering your question, Stanley. Are you listening very well?
Yes.
That is how different mine is from them. So I'm taking you to, from the national database, we go to a national development plan. Now we have statistics, we have data, we have to begin to plan. How do we plan? How many students of agriculture do we want to produce? How many students of engineers? How many engineers do we want to produce as a country? How many lawyers do we need? Do we need lawyers? Yes. Do we need engineers? Yes. Do we need doctors? How many of them in a year?